Let's do this. Are you ready for a comeback? Are you ready to fly? Are you ready for the moment? Get ready to ride. Calling all the fighters, calling on survivors. Are you up all nighters? We can take it higher. Let's do this. Can you feel the fire running through your veins? Now you're burning brighter, don't look away. Shout out to the legends, rising from the wreckage. Count down the seconds, it's out your engines. Let's do this. Got a long way to go. I know we've got a long road home. I know we've got a long way to go. Let's do this. Are you ready for a comeback? Are you ready to fly? Let's do this. Are you ready for the moment? Get ready to ride. Let's do this. Oh, you know we're gonna do this.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the final race of 2022 here at the North-South Racing League. I'm Josh Laston. With me, as always, is Mr. Adam Wood. Adam, how are you doing this evening?
Nobody is really out of point contention tonight. I think it's going to be a fantastic race, and going to be a lot of beating and banging tonight. I guarantee it. This short track racing at its finest here.
And IRP is a great track for us to be closing out the season. These guys have been here once before. Oh no, twice. Sorry. But
three times. You got Philip Martin was season 1, and Dante Curtis has 2 wins, seasons 2 and season 4.
Well, and he is currently in the points lead. No one is mathematically eliminated because it is a showdown, which means double points, and Mike Alexander is going to be at the front.
He's going to come through at the end, though. He always lurks there at the end on these showdown races for the double points nights.
But Bryan Hacker, 12 points back from Dante Curtis. That means he's got to be about 3 to 4 places. There's a bunch of bonuses that make it to where I'm not even going to try to math in the middle of this race. But Mike Alexander, 25 points back. Ryan Johnson, 43. Will Eastman, 63. All of these guys have a chance. It's just a matter of who finishes farther ahead of the rest of the pack. And you know what? We've got ourselves 6 minutes worth of practice left. These guys have been out here for quite some time. Only 15 cars currently out there tonight. So it's going to be a relatively small field, which means these points are going to be even closer because these guys, there's not going to be as many to pad that position to where if somebody is gone within the first 2 laps, they're still going to walk away with 15th.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, this is a mid-sized field for these guys here tonight. 15 people as of right now showing up for it. And, mistakes happen, caution comes out, you get booted to the back. It's not like at the beginning of the season when you had 30 30-plus cars coming at you where you kind of make it through. So you think, you're up front, you weren't involved in it, and you're okay, and you're going to be able to do it. And next thing you know, you see them working their way already back up to the front. So, these smaller fields provide a little bit more action where all the competitive guys are going to be there almost at all times.
And we actually came in ever so slightly early today because we were told we were allowed to bring a few people up into the booth.
Hold on. Well, before we do that, I just got told there is no wall riding tonight. Okay, this is a championship round. There is no wall riding.
As
just
we
over the area.
quite literally are seeing Bryan Hacker do it. Well, I mean, it's worth a shot. We've seen it in Cup. Why not try it out in the sim, considering that's where he learned it?
And in the street stocks, they're a little bit more forgiving than the new Cup cars.
I would argue that the new Cup cars with their composite bodies could deal with a little more slamming into walls, but...
until that tolling breaks.
Well, that's a different story, but... All right, let's take a quick moment, and we're going to work backwards up through the field up to qualifying. So let's go ahead, bring up our current 5th place standings. Will Eastman, how are you doing tonight up in the booth?
Not too bad, guys. How are you?
None too bad. Just looking to get a quick word on how you're feeling. Tonight's a double points night, which means nobody's mathematically eliminated. What are you going to try to do tonight to get yourself up to the top of the table?
Well, I mean, right now we're pretty fast in practice, but I know it's going to take a lot. But I just got to go out there, try to lead the most laps, and win the race like I do every week.
Hey, that's the best plan out there, and just make sure we've already learned no wall riding.
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on it. It looks like a couple of guys in practice here just did that and bumped me down a little bit. But Dustin over there is second ahead of everybody.
Yeah, that's what happens. But good luck tonight. We're looking to see a great race, and again, good luck.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yep.
Have a good one, then.
I think. All right, and next, well, we've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Let's go ahead, get a quick word from Mr. Ryan Johnson. Ryan, last race of the season, still within touching distance of points. What is on your mind right now?
Not a whole lot. Just, I guess, want to try and win one more race before the season's over and maybe get a plaque. But points, maybe statistically speaking, it's possible, but I don't see that happening.
I mean,
Just not with Dante's track record.
Well, we know that, but still, you got to keep that in the back of your mind, but just go out there, have a good race, and maybe we'll see you up here with a win.
Yeah, maybe. That's what we're going to hope for, but I haven't figured the track out yet, so we'll see how the first half of the race
could
goes.
You got 200 laps. So you got 200 laps to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll try and learn as much as we can in the first 100 and apply it in the second 100.
Sounds like a plan. We'll let you get back to practice.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. All right. The question is do I just go ahead and get a quick word from Mr. Mike Alexander? Yeah.
Let's go ahead and bring him up.
All right, Mike, you've got Josh and Adam in the booth. Just a quick, what's going through your mind as we get this started? Because you still have a chance at the championship. Oh, is he one of those? All right.
He might be taking a break.
All right. I'm putting him back, and we're moving one along. All right, Brian, since apparently Mike was taking a break, quick question. How are you feeling about tonight?
Great.
Just
That's one answer, one word answer. We love it, man. You're
Has-
keeping the crowd enthused out there.
Oh yeah. No, it is what it is. We're gonna have a little bit of fun tonight, and we'll figure out at whose expense.
well, I'm just going to say it's looking like things are going to be fast and exciting, so we'll let you get down there since practice is over. It's qualifying, and we'll look forward to possibly chatting with you at the end.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. All right, we didn't get all the way through the field, but here's always the warm-up. But we've got a few guys making their way out, and we'll start off with Jared Moggard in that 00 tonight. And apparently it's wanting to jump around in iRacing be strange.
No, you don't say.
No. But what we'll actually do is go on to the Kelly's Custom Engraving roll bar camera for a lap in Jared Moggard's car. And he is doing what I tend to do at this track. You do not want to hit that yellow line, otherwise you're going to kill some tires. You're going to want to be about a groove up. Just get a nice, clean exit. And it's flat, so you have to be a little bit careful on the throttle. He does a fantastic job. And that's going to be enough for a provisional pole for the time being with a 24.33. But we've got quite a few more cars out there. Mike Alexander is working on setting his first time of the session. Let's see what he's able to do. And, okay, I lied. He was on his out lap.
Yep.
But Will Eastman is up in second with a 24.36. Dante Curtis is crossing the line as we get to him. And looks like he may have tagged a wall.
And for everybody that doesn't know, when you tag the wall or make a mistake out there that causes any type of 0x contact, that lap does not count.
No, and that is unfortunate because that means that your second lap, which is generally slower, is going to be the one that you have to time, but he actually comes through, takes over a provisional pole with a 24.20. Mike Alexander currently sitting in second with a 24.22. Will Eastman is currently in third with a 24.30. Ryan Johnson ends up now. His first lap is a 25.71 and crosses the line once again to add just a little bit of extra time to where he's a 24.39. And the rest of these guys will check on Bryan Hacker, just trying to focus on our top 5 front runners since they're out on track for once, all at different times. But Bryan Hacker getting across the line, and that's going to be good enough for 9th. He's sitting right behind Ryan Johnson, but he's going to try to improve. He's dropping pretty low there through 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's out there going a little bit lower than the other guys there, but I mean, depends on how he likes to hit that center apex off. Let's see what he does here.
And not able to improve.
He basically ran the same lap time, just a little bit off, a little bit slower on that second lap.
But it looks like Gary Eschen's out there trying to just get a little bit of extra practice. And why not? Qualifying is set up for 5 minutes. Run some extra laps. Or get some pit lane entry at practice, because this isn't a directly off of turn 4 entry. It's before turn 3. So it can be a little treacherous. It's a little longer than what we're used to. But still, it's going to be tricky getting down to speed before that yellow cone, which loves to jump out and bite you.
Yeah, a lot of people got to worry about getting on and off pit road, like you said here. I'm baying the yellow line coming out, blending back out on the track, trying to be as smooth as possible, but carry as much speed on that flat surface there on the apron. And so you try to do that, exit there, but you're trying to keep up as much speed as you can to maximize your on and off-road pit road times.
No, and that is going to be the trick of the day. These guys lately have had some absolutely amazing green flag runs, and goal is going to be to keep that one just active. So, all right, it's that time. We're going to see if this deep into the season I can finally get that massive spin. And of course, my window decided to resize, so yeah, there we go. And it also didn't clear numbers. Why? Why does it have to do this to me today? There we go. 15 cars, 16 places, because we can end up with a 0. It is time to see what we got, and
Finally.
we finally get the large number. That is 12. That is huge with only 15 cars. So only 3, and here's the unfortunate part of this. Bryan Hacker is in that last spot. The last spot before the invert. So the 11 is going to be saying goodbye to his competitor, Ryan Johnson. Oh, wait. No. We can run through this.
So the invert makes Matt Cook the pole sitter, and Bryan Hacker will be sitting there in second spot.
I was looking at where everybody was from the other, but we can actually run through our qualifying order and get ourselves moving. Dante Curtis was our pole sitter. Mike Alexander in second. Dustin Shepard third. Will Eastman fourth. Gary Eschen is in fifth. Sixth is Jeff Bergener. Seventh, Jared Moggard. Eighth, Adam Gable. Ninth, Robbie Clavey. 10th, Ryan Johnson. 11th, Bryan Hacker. Matt Cook in 12th. Kyle Walgreen in 13th. Rodney Huntoon in 14th. And Jeff Mathis 15th. So, yes, Matt Cook is the recipient of the golden position, and Bryan Hacker gets that opportunity to start at the beginning, and his main competition shuffled to the back.
Yeah, so you got Matt. Bryan Hacker's going to be on the outside pole there. Ryan Johnson gets to line up on the inside right behind the pole sitter. I mean, you got two people that's going to be fighting right there just to go ahead and hurry up and get a bonus point for leading the lap right there. So they want to get out there super quick and early to ensure they get a lap led at least, trying to maximize as much bonus points as you can.
And that's exactly what these guys are going to be looking forward to. We have to remember that there are bonus points for a clean race. And I want to know who just exploded.
So far, I'm not seeing anything on my end.
There also could just be iRacing making some strange noises. It's really good at that sometimes.
I haven't heard anything about any shenanigans so far.
Well,
I think a little bit more serious race this race, being a championship.
Well, sometimes that happens. But we've got ourselves 200 laps at Lucas Oil Raceway, or IRP, depending on how old you are. But this is going to just be an amazing close to this season. This is race 17. I'll be honest, does not feel like we have been around for 17 races this season. Not looking forward to it ending, but it has been 16 weeks of great racing so far.
Yeah, these guys have put on a fantastic season this year. Very close at the end here, and having the showdown race as your final race for double points is going to make this race even more exciting.
There's no way around it that the double points have certainly thrown a little bit of a wrench into this season. It's made it to where some guys have had the opportunity to be a little more competitive than they've been every week, but in all honesty, you look at a guy like Mike Alexander, who, of course, no one wants to line up and make it to where I can find him.
Yeah.
But Mike Alexander just has happened to be in the right place at the right time multiple times to get himself double points.
Yeah, he came close to, maximizing the double points this past time. Past when he won 2 of the 3 so far. This is the final one. He's just been lurking there at the end.
And I don't know if it's just me, but it looks like that 03 is having some blinking issues. And that's not good.
No. I mean, he's going to go to the tail end of the field here due to the blinking. Or not to the blinking, but
winning last week.
Due to the invert.
No, he won last week as well, so he gets to start from the tail end of the field.
What?
So right now, these guys are going to get themselves sorted.
They extended the caution flag out. One more lap. So to everybody that's out there watching, who do you think is going to win the race? And will that person be also the one that wins the championship? So take your picks out there. Who will win the race and who will win the championship here tonight?
I really do think that iRacing is just throwing out strange noises because it just sounded like somebody wrecked. But obviously everybody's still moving forward. But the lights on the pace truck are off. We're about ready to get ourselves started for the last time in 2022 in the North-South Racing League. And Matt Cook will be starting on the outside, which I'm actually going to agree with that call. Especially at IRP, we're talking about a relatively flat track. You're going to want to be able to get as much speed as you possibly can. As the pace truck is into pit lane, we're going to have to wait until these guys are straight. And then it's going to be time for that green flag to fly. And we are off. And Bryan Hacker is just running the 15 up. And that's going to give Ryan Johnson the opportunity to get himself down below the 15. The 11 is a little bit loose coming out of turn 2 there. But collects it and gets...
Rodney, we have one almost round 73, collects it. Gary Eshen's in, and then...
And we're going to have
huge
to
save.
Take a quick look here as the 73 collects the 13, but checks up the field and everybody's back to running. But let's get ourselves back up to the front here to where Matt Cook gets himself back up to the front. And that is Gonna get everybody single file. Bryan Hacker just gonna run right behind him. The 38 of Ryan Johnson. Adam Gable, who is running 4th tonight. These guys got a little bit of a separation to where once you get back to Will Eastman, who survived that contact, you've got a little over a second back to Gary Eschen. Then Dustin Shepard, Rodney Huntoon, Mike Alexander, all of these guys, they've got some ground to make up right now.
Yeah, there's a huge gap right there, and these guys are going to have to do it. I mean, if I were them, I would be patient. I wouldn't be wearing my tires out. I would just kind of run my race at this point. If you try to overheat these tires this early in the run to try and fill that gap, it's just going to overheat the tires. So I just be a patient game at this point. As we got a battle for the lead right now. Bryan Hacker is underneath Matt Cook, and Ryan Johnson's right there wanting to fill the gap if he can get by him.
And the biggest problem is we see the 15 take a little bit of paint off of that outside. You're able to carry a reasonable amount of speed if you have that outside line. It's not that it's progressive banking to the extent that you see it like a Bristol, but it's just enough to be able to make a difference on something this flat. But Bryan Hacker gets himself up into the lead of this race, and that's going to be a bonus point for him. Ryan Johnson now clear of the 15, and we're seeing a bit of a stack up right behind as now Jared Moggart in the 00s looking below the 91 right behind him. Then Jeff Bergener, Will Eastman, all of these guys are looking to be able to try to get themselves around the 15. But Matt Cook's holding his own on that outside.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. I mean, he's learning how to keep up that momentum on the outside line. And, I said week in and week out, this car is all about the momentum. The horsepower is lacking for these wonderful runs that you would see in different cars. So you need to worry about the momentum here. And this outside line is doing a fantastic job. Like you said, it might not be that progressive, but it has enough of banking there on the outside where it's able to keep up that wonderful speed, and you can kind of compete up there. So it's kind of makes it a 2-lane track here.
And that's wonderful to see, especially as we're closing out the season. So much on the line. We're only 10 laps in, and these guys are getting a little bit racy. I'm just going to take a quick look back here and check everyone in on our championship favorites. We've got Dante Curtis currently running in 10th. He started at the back of the grid. Mike Alexander's right there behind him, running at 11th. But at the end of the day, these are the two that we need to keep an eye on. Bryan Hacker, right now, this is the position. If it was to be called right now, him and Dante would come down to bonus points.
Yeah, it's going to be Dante's going to have to come through here and try to drive through the field. But we're on lap 12. He's got a long ways to go here. Probably, maybe see one, maybe two cautions here. So, there
is 21, and way to commentators curse that we've been able to get away from that a lot this season.
Oh, man, I called that one into existence. I'm sorry about that field. I'm so sorry. And I figured there was going to be some at some point, but not right as I said it.
And this is the perfect time to do this, and because it didn't show up as being an incident, I now have to find people, and of course I'm failing horribly. But the field is making their way in, and that was the 15 bouncing off the wall. The 21 just did not have enough space between them, and everybody's back to straight at least. Can't complain about that too much when guy's at least nice enough to put you straight.
Yeah.
To where, that's honestly nothing more than not enough space between them, and just wanted to make sure that push a dent into that passenger door.
But I mean, like I said, these cars have a lot of give here with the body, and they're able to do a lot of things. And we see Dante Curtis doing a little bit of a different strategy. I think he did maybe fuel only.
I'm gonna make the wild assumption that yes, that
His was only 8 seconds. I think everybody else who did tires were 14 seconds, maybe right side tires like Bryan Hacker and them. And there's a couple 25 seconds somewhere in there. I think that's all 4 tires.
yes, I would say that 8 seconds is just pouring some gas in there, and Dante's running at the back of the field. That's the right call.
I mean, he gets him up front. He leads the lap, so I mean that's a good points move.
He's gonna go ahead and dive into the pits. I think he realizes his mistake. It's flat.
I mean,
But
did he make a mistake? He led a lap.
yeah, I guess
He got the
you're-
points for it. If he doesn't get back up to the front due to other incidents that might happen, he might get collected into. He led a lap, so that's double points right there.
So I would say that at this point, if he was going to run the strategy of get a lap, he would have stayed out. I think that he was going in doing fuel only, thinking, we're 14 laps in. Nobody's going to take tires yet. And then everybody took right sides. So now he's back in. And getting those tires, and it looks like he took all the tires. So he may have an advantage over these front runners by having 4 fresh tires rather than just rights.
Well, yeah. So the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah,
It's back
top
to
5.
6th with Will Eastman.
Yep.
But the lights on the pace truck are off. Bryan Hacker is going to be leading us to green. And he gets to go whenever he wants. He's being a bit more of a gentleman than I would be in this situation. Waiting to get out of the turn, get himself going, and he is off. And he's going to get himself completely clear of Ryan Johnson. Now Adam Gable is going to be running along the outside of the 38. And okay, not for much longer. The 38 is going to go ahead and slide up there into second. But the 00 and the 91 are going to go side by side through 3 and 4 and try to see if they can't keep. Well, one of them wants the 3rd place, and it's looking like it's going to be the 91 at this point, but that 00 is not going to give up.
Yeah, these guys are fighting really hard right now. They got a couple of them side by side. We see Adam Gable gets a little bit loose there. The 00, Jared Mogren sitting on the bottom side, trying to get by. He was trapped earlier on the bottom side, trying to get by. Matt Cook, now he doesn't want to wear his tires out this quickly, this early, getting those right side tires, and wants to go ahead and clear Adam as quickly as possible, and he does right there.
And he is going to leave it up to Gary Eschen. Gary is now the one trying to move up a position. And all of this side-by-side fighting is doing one thing, and that's giving the 03 the opportunity to get himself up into this pack to start making moves. He's got the 21 of Jeff Bergener, who got pushed a little bit sideways. And luckily he had no passenger, because there would have been a bumper poking him in the elbow in that last incident. But we're starting lap 22 of 200, and things are single file and hopefully going to settle down and just get a good long run.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are going to have to settle in. We got the top few here that only got a 2-tire stop. We see Dante already kind of moving up right now. He's in 7th spot, and he is the second highest mover with the 4 tires there. Will Eastman's the only one up there. He's got 2 spots ahead of him. But, at this point in the game, you're running about 4th, 5th, 6th on back. I say run your race. Try not to wear out your tires and hope for a long green flag run.
And these guys have been fantastic about green flag runs. As long as we can get ourselves into the exact situation that we have right now, even though it looks like Jared Mogart is just like, you know what? I don't like being single file. I'm going to see if I can get my nose up under that 38 as he gets real out of sorts coming out of turn 3, but collects it and now isn't quite pressuring Ryan Johnson, who's apparently got the exact same idea.
Yeah, these guys are, man, they're running very similar lines. At some point you got to start searching just a little bit higher, just a little bit lower. See if you can hit a later apex on the turn end to see if you get a better run. Ride behind them as much as possible, push him as much as possible. Hopefully he wears his tires out before you wear yours.
As we're going to jump back a little farther in the field, as it looks like Gary Eschen and Will Eastman, they're going side by side, and that's given Dante Curtis the opportunity to close up. But what I'm actually seeing here is that's given the 21 a chance to go ahead and follow Dante's moves, close the gap, and get himself back into contention. He's currently running 8th, but he wants more.
I mean, yeah, he's doing his can. We got 21 of Jeff Behringer right there. He's coming in. His car is just straight chrome black this week. It's not chrome. It's got a little bit of the black satin chrome into it.
I think that's just iRacing's lighting being a little strange.
Yeah.
But no, he actually gets the pass done on Dante Curtis as Dante just goes ahead, backs off a little bit. My guess is that's a tire conservation move. Don't push it too hard. Jeff will make a mistake. Everybody in this group, and of course we see it, they're out of turn 4. He gets a little slideways. But now's not the time to be overheating those Hoosiers because we're on lap 30. Still got 170 to go.
Yeah, still a long ways to go here. We got a couple pit cycles that we're gonna have to go through here, and you're hoping for a long green flag run. And we see Ryan Johnson. I mean, he's right on the back bumper of Bryan Hacker. I mean, he's putting pressure like crazy all over him. Hopefully, he makes a mistake or just pushes him a little bit too far or deeper into the corner. Have him wear out that front right. Because, I mean, that's a big deal here, that keeping that front right cool as we see Bryan Hacker get a little bit looser on exit, trying to get all she can out of that car.
And you just nailed it on the head. It becomes right front limited very early in these runs to where the car doesn't really want to turn in all that much. And then you end up murdering the right rear, which makes it to where not only is your entry compromised, your exit's compromised. And suddenly, these street stocks, it's like driving a Mustang on ice.
Yeah, it gets really slippery, and first gets plowy, and then gets really slippery on corner exit. So you got to do whatever you can. But we see a great battle right now. Jared Mogart is actually putting the bumper to Ryan Johnson there in 3rd spot. He closed the gap on there. And the top 3 got a good about 4 or 5 car lengths back to Gary Eschen. They're pulling away from that second pack there.
Well, a little bit of that is Bryan Hacker. It's not like he's slow. But Ryan Johnson right there on his bumper, The one thing about IRP is these straights, as we see the 38 looking to get that nose down below the 11, make the move. I don't think he's going to be able to really get it done. How was there no contact there?
I have no clue. I mean, you had Jared Mogard. He was trying to find a way to Ryan Johnson's outside because he knows if he gets to the outside, that's an easy pass. He's going to get by him. The person on the bottom now, these tires are wearing out, is going to be the one that's going to be struggling to get by. As you see, you can get down there, but making the pass and having your car stick and keep up that momentum is going to be very hard on that low line. So you want to find your way to the outside of these guys if possible.
And especially when we're 20 laps deep on these tires, it's not going to be easy, and it's looking like Gary Eschen trying to take advantage of that little bit of chaos that we saw between these two. He's closing up that gap, but right now, this is just a hornet's nest between Will Eastman, Jeff Bergener, and Dante Curtis. 3 of them are within about 4 car lengths.
Yeah, I've been watching the lap times. Gary Eschen has been just a couple 100 seconds faster each lap than the top 3 here, and it's always able to close the gap. I mean, just running consistently faster than these guys, lap after lap, and is able to catch up to them. But being a little bit faster than them, over the course of 5 laps and getting to them, does not mean he's got the speed to get by them.
As we jump, Dante Curtis gets himself down below the 21. Can't quite make it stick. The 21, despite hitting the wall, there's just going to be no sheet metal left on the outside of that 21 by the end of this race. And he's still fast. He's looking down below the 13 right now and trying to find a way around. This is just... I mean, I expect no different from this group, but we're 20% into this race, and these guys are just throwing it around and, well, making it interesting as we're about to have a 3 wide coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, Dante's doing what he can now is just to try and get by him. But, I mean, it's going to be hard to pass here. So we see Jeff underneath Will Eastman right there. He's just trying to find his way there. Right now, ooh, gets some little side kiss right there as he goes into turn 1, dives down below him. Then he's just trying to ensure that he has the widest entrance he can get for that bottom to keep up that momentum.
13 gets a little bit of a kiss to the wall, and that may actually be exactly what the 21 is gonna need to be able to get, and both of them get loose coming out of turn 4.
I mean, everybody's pushing out like crazy. You're going to try to give it everything you can so you don't get passed. And Jeff is doing everything he can so he can pass him. So,
and while this battle rages on, we jump up towards the front, and actually it's not nearly as close as timing and scoring made it seem. But I just cannot look away from this battle because these guys just are, there is no give. As Jeff Bergener, he just wants to be in front of Will Eastman.
But Dante's almost got to his outside right there. He's going to do a crossover move. I mean, he drops down to the apron. I mean, he's doing what he can. He's throwing it down right now. He's finding any spot on the track and trying to make a pass.
And now they're catching up to the 91 of Adam Gable. And could this get any dicier? To where I don't even like being this close to cars when I'm stopped at a stoplight.
Yeah,
and these guys are doing 110 miles an hour.
I'm ready to see these four tires shine. Will Eastman, though, he's the first one on the 4 tires. And now he's able to get by the first person there on the 2-tire strategy. Let's see if they can start selling away as Dante drops down below Jeff there and trying to make that bottom line work, but just cannot.
And he is doing everything he can to try to get that job done, but as we'll go on board, and I love this bumper, but I'm also a road racer, so I can't agree with that statement. But he's dropping down early, waiting to see if that 21 maybe just gets a little bit loose, and that ultimately would make it to where if he's on that low line, one of these guys up top has an issue, he's already out of the way and able to get the run out of the corner. And I mean, why not? It's a fantastic move. But here's from the bumper of Will Eastman, and honestly, the best view of how Dante Curtis is trying to find anything he can, and then he blinks out on us. He just needs to get around that 21. At this point, the 4 tires have worn away. He needs to get himself through that, and 21 hits a wall. Honestly, I think everybody, there's going to be 0 paint on the outside of their cars by the time we're done tonight.
Yeah, luckily these cars can take a beating and keep on going here. You're able to do it. This damage model is actually pretty well for these guys to show off how indestructible these things are. But yeah, Dante Curtis is doing what he can to try and get by on pressure. Jeff's rear end gets a little loose there. I saw the door numbers a little bit too much there for Dante's liking. As I look at the front right now, Ryan Johnson just drops his nose below it, gets a little loose there on the exit.
And I was just about to check in back up at the front, and it was the perfect time as we see the 00 get a little bit loose, trying to get himself down below Ryan Johnson. That's going to shuffle him back into 4th from 3rd. But Gary Eschen, he has been faster nearly every lap from what I've been seeing than the person behind him. And honestly, oh, that's not what I wanted. That's the one I wanted. But Gary Eschen, other than like minuscule variances, has continued to be faster than Ryan Johnson. Honestly, this group of 4, they have pulled out to over 3 seconds over Will Eastman in 5th. And Gary Eschen continuing to close down that gap.
It's just the hardest part right now is trying to see where can they get the passes done here. As of right now, nobody's able to really get the passes completed here. They try to throw something down, drop it all the way down to the bottom. We've seen people hit the apron and nothing. So what can Gary Eschen do differently to get by Ryan Johnson?
If I'm in his shoes, now's not the time to be thinking about that. Now is the time to be biding my time. We are on lap 57 of 200. Over the course of 20 laps, this group has opened up nearly a 4-second gap over 5th place. I'm perfectly content running with this group until the tires fall off. And apparently Jared Mogard does not agree, as he's going to go ahead and throw it down below Gary Eschen. And inevitably backs off. The 23 gets a little bit loose on the corner entry, but again, at this point, if I can work with this group, the draft here is actually, it's not going to be super speedway levels. it's going to be Charlotte levels in the Cup cars.
Yeah, right now these guys are hanging in there. They probably in the draft here gain maybe a mile per hour or two down the front and back straightaways. Nothing too significant compared to other ones, but I mean it alters the way your car enters and exits on these straightaways here. But Gary Eschen's doing what he can. And he's backed off just a little bit. I mean, I'm wondering if he's trying to save up for a run. Let his Hoosiers cool down, because Ryan Johnson, he's not letting his Hoosiers cool down. He's staying right on the back bumper of Bryan Hacker at all times as he drops down low right there in the center of two. Coming out of two down the back straightaway, gets the fender to the halfway up and up the doorway. Ooh, they make contact. Ryan Johnson is sideways. Gary Eschen's going to close the gap here. Ryan Johnson's hugging that yellow line. Jared Moger's trying to drop down low. He runs high now. Right now, Gary Eschen's going to take that second spot away, I believe. I think he's going to be able to go. Ryan Johnson's floating up, trying to kind of push his way up and have an opening happen there. But Jared Moger's not letting this happen. Ryan Johnson's loose again.
And that's what happens when you get loose. You get even 5 to 10 degrees worth of extra heat in those tires, and it's nearly impossible to control. But Ryan Johnson, I'm not going to say I blame him for trying to make that move.
I mean, you can only ride behind somebody for so long.
I guess I'm somewhat patient, though some of my teammates would argue that I am the least patient person on track. But I realize as long as I'm within touching distance of these guys, I can make those kind of moves later.
Well, I'm wondering if he's looking at, he's leading more laps right now. We're at 64 of 200. I need to get out in front of him if I want to get the bonus points for laps led.
Well, and here's the other major thing that we missed during that exchange. Dustin Shepard and Mike Alexander made their way into the pits, got 4 tires, and Kyle Walgreen is now on his way in. It's time for some pit cycles.
Yeah, I mean, you got to throw, I guess these guys are trying to short pit it, trying to throw a different strategy into it instead of doing the, who knows, they might be trying to, not do a longer run here, do a little bit shorter stint since the tire wear.
Gary Eschen makes his way in. Ryan Johnson got around him, so now he's going to go ahead and make his pit stop. And these guys, this is, I'll admit, a little bit on the confusing side for me. They're only about a half a second off of what was their fastest lap. I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything other than run the tank dry. Because when you're talking about a pit lane time, these guys are going 2 laps down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see you coming back from that unless you're out in clean air running your own laps here and not really pushing that front right and trying to save it for it. But, I mean, these guys aren't running that long of a stint to be able to make it kind of work to kind of baby the tires here.
But, I mean, someone may know the math a little bit more than us right now. That are they only able, do we still see 2 more stops in those guys' future? Or are these guys looking to do 2 stops?
I'm not sure. Like right now, Bryan Hacker's fastest lap is a 24.23, and the last lap they ran was 24.8. So that's only 0.6. Jared Mogart was a little bit faster. So I mean,
and now he's throwing it down to see if he's able to get the pass done, but the 11 carries the speed.
there's not too much of a fall off. I think you would need about a second and a half to make this strategy work to its fullest of really short pitting here.
All right. Jeff Bergener, Ryan Johnson, Will Eastman, Dante Curtis, Matt Cook all made their way into the pit lanes. Actually, Adam Gable, Rodney Huntoon. There goes Bryan Hacker from the lead. The 00 is going to go ahead and get himself into the lap lead club for the night. But at 73 laps, I'm going to assume that there is no hope at anyone. And there goes the 00 diving into the pits. I don't think there's anyone that's going to be able to make it to the end. We see everyone ranging from lap 60 all the way to Jeff Mathis, who should be inheriting the lead of this race once he gets around the lap. May have to stay out one more depending on where Jared Mogert. Nope, he's going to be able to lead this lap. But he is the only one who has not pit. And depending on where they come out, Bryan Hacker may be able to get in front of Ryan Johnson, who will ultimately inherit the lead of this race when Jeff Mathis makes his way in. But here is surprising no one behind Ryan Johnson, Mike Alexander. It's a showdown race. Of course he's there.
Yeah, Mike Alexander's doing what he can to do it. He short pitted just a few laps ahead of these guys. He was there at lap 59. Ryan Johnson pitted lap 70. And they're basically running the exact same times. Ryan Johnson's right at a 10th faster than him on this last lap. But, they're going to run very similar or comparable lap times here until they get through here. But Jeff Mathis is still the race leader, sitting out there running this thing completely dry, hoping for a caution so he can trap the whole entire field down.
Well, the other thing that he may be able to do is we're on lap 77, and his
last time a pit road was lap 13.
Lap 13. So, I mean, he's got a long way to go to be able to split this in half. So he's looking at lap 106, 107, and everybody's closing him in. His last lap was a 25:06. Ryan Johnson, who's behind him, a 24:45.
Yeah, but he still has a 40-second gap over second place right now. So, I mean, it's still a huge gap here on this small track. And these guys, if a caution comes out, I mean, these guys are some of these guys are trapped 2 laps down right now. So, I mean, and you only get one wave around. So, if they stay out when Jeff pits. So, I mean, very detrimental to your performance if a caution comes out right now while Jeff is leading.
But, I mean, he is out there getting laps led. It's not like I believe he's going to end up leading half the most laps. I mean, actually, it's completely plausible. But Bryan Hacker was in the lead of this race, has Dante Curtis right on his back bumper, Jared Mogard right behind. But this is a difference of Bryan Hacker lap 72, Dante Curtis 70, Jared Mogard 73. These guys, not much of a variance in strategy, but darn close on lap time.
I mean, Mike Alexander, though, his pit road time from start to finish was a minute 7, whereas Ryan Johnson was a minute 11. I'm not sure if that's uh, different fuel because the pit actual time was off by about 6 seconds there. So I don't know if he took less fuel there because
11
if he
laps of fuel, I think, would actually be that 4 seconds.
so he was able to get on and off, which helped close the gap there on him. So he closed the distance there on Ryan Johnson.
Honestly, that little bit of a short pit probably wasn't the worst idea, especially knowing if we've got 2 stops left and Jeff Mathis is going to be our perfect test case.
And he's in.
And there he is. So on lap 84, that's basically showing me that everybody's got 2 more stops left in them.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit different strategy. He's going to stay out there a lot longer than everybody else. But now he's going to go out there and set some a little bit faster laps than what these guys have been running for a while. So he's able to kind of overcome some of the time lost by him staying out there for these extra, what? How long? Last person hit it was like 73, 83. So he stayed out there for actually between 10 to 15 extra laps than everybody else. So you'll have a little bit fresher tires to go out there and kind of feel good instead of watching everybody else drive by him feeling good.
And to be honest, it may actually be very beneficial for him because we're looking on him to get himself out of the pits. He has dropped back. Gary Eschen was in that front 4, now running in 13th a lap down. I'm going to assume he sped, because he has made 3 trips to the pits, and yeah, that's the only explanation.
And I hate it when that happens whenever you're seemingly having a good night and speed on pit road, and it kind of negates anything that you had going for the whole entire night.
Yeah, it is very unfortunate, but unfortunately, I'm the first person to admit that, yeah, that one's on me. I do it way more than I should, to where I've kind of had to force myself to think that way. But yeah, I'll admit that it's on me.
I'm the same way a lot of times. I'm the kind of the Denny Hamlin of screwing myself on pit road here. And the man puts himself through so many damn penalties on pit road. It's unbelievable. And kind of feel like him every so often there. Speeding on pit road, messing up the entrance or something to that effect that kind of takes me out of the ball game.
And let's go ahead, take a quick run through the field. Right now, Ryan Johnson is our leader, up 9 positions. Part of that's the invert. But he currently is about 2 seconds in front of Mike Alexander. In second, Bryan Hacker is in third. And then Dante Curtis right behind him. 5th is Jared Moggard. These 3 definitely the closest battle on track. Only a second separating all 3 of them. And then we go back to 6th then. Jeff Bergener, Will Eastman running in 2nd. Dustin Shepard in 8th. Then Matt Cook in 9th. Adam Gable is rounding out the top 10. And Gary Eschen out there on Facebook said that the car was terrible after the pit stop and might actually accidentally screw someone out of a championship. And honestly, that is way more gentleman than a lot of people I have been out on track with before. And I very much respect that decision.
Man, you were showing some great potential, man. You had some really great speed there. On that first run there, you're able to close the gap, run up with them, get up to third place, man. Fast car though in that long first stint there.
And it was a great run, but again, we've got ourselves some seriously tight battles right now. And yeah, I'll admit that there's been a race or two that I have just cruised around the back because, yeah, I'm not going to win anything. So it's make sure I don't screw anyone's night. And
That's
then
the last thing you want to do.
sometimes you just run next to Adam and door him to pass him.
Yeah, that happens too. But hey, as we go through here, we're about almost the halfway mark here. 5 more laps. We'll be at the century mark here. Will be a lap 100 of 200. So we see Dante Curtis got a little bit of blink there, but it's very more manageable than the start of the race. The start of the race, though, can be the most demanding on the network and on the PC there. Everybody's gridding up, everybody's getting everything to go, and it's just trying to load everything. So everything's been looking pretty good though throughout the race here, but he's doing his best right now to get past Bryan Hacker for third. Every position's technically worth 2 positions here since it is a double points night.
And honestly, again, it's all going to come down to some serious bonus points because these guys are doing everything they can to keep within touching distance of one another. And horribly timed phrasing. For those that don't know, YouTube, there are bots, and inevitably they are inappropriate websites. And of course, right as I talk about, yeah.
You triggered it, just like I triggered the caution earlier.
I would much rather trigger what I had, though.
Yes. But right now we see you see a nice 3-car battle here. The passing lane isn't here on the older tires. These guys are looking every which way possible. I mean, I would send it up high, try to get a late apex to get a good run off the corner. And kind of Jared's doing right now. He's running up high, drop it down low on corner exit, trying to see where can you find the speed. This is where I would be doing, being that third car in line. Let Dante put all the pressure in the world on Bryan Hacker, and those two overheat their tires. And me, I'm searching for that lane. Like, what lane is going to give me that it factor that nobody else has found, or that works the best for my driving style?
Well, and honestly, I've said it multiple times this evening. We're looking to have some very clean racing. And knock on the wood there. These kind of long runs tend to be the great equalizer. We haven't had a caution to bring everyone back together. A large chunk of this race, the field is on the lead lap. But this group of 3, they're tracking down Mike Alexander. They're closing in on under a second to where he's within frame, which is why I'm loving this camera right now, to where we can kind of see that this little pack, they're closing in. Granted, we'll make the quick jump to show that Ryan Johnson, he's kind of checked out at this point. And the last thing he wants is a caution. But Bryan Hacker, Dante Curtis, Jared Maugard, this is what they want. Track down the 75, and then next stop the 38.
Yeah, these guys are trying their best to get to them, but once I keep going back to it. Once you get there, how do you get past them? You caught him. We saw Gary Eschen. He was able to catch the field just slowly, just like these guys are. But he couldn't go anywhere until there was a mistake by Ryan Johnson and Jared Mogard. Both of them made mistakes for him to get by. So clean racing, hard racing. how are they going to get by Mike Alexander? Because I know Mike isn't just going to roll over and be like, hey, yeah, you guys caught me. You're going by, man. Just wave you by.
I would actually argue that as he's going into the pits, he's going to go ahead and say, you know what, you guys are catching me quick. I probably burned my tires up early. Now's the time to hit the pits. As Dante Curtis looking like maybe it's go time.
I mean, you got to do something with this right now. I mean, we got Dante Curtis sitting in third, Bryan Hacker's in second, but they're just over 4 seconds, 4.2 seconds off of the race lead here. And Dante Curtis, the last time, he short pitted Bryan Hacker by 2 laps, was able to close the gap by that. But that's at lap 70. They've only been running just over, 37 laps, 38 laps now on these tires. The first run, they ran right at 50 to 60 laps. So it's kind of shocking to see Mike Alexander already coming back in to get that pit stop.
I mean, honestly, those guys closed in relatively quickly. Maybe it's a difference of strategy. You realize that, hey, we're keeping it clean. Everybody's nice and spaced out. Why not throw out a little bit of a risky strategy? Come in, get the tires, because you know what, even if I latch onto the back of this pack as Dante Curtis gets a little bit loose, and that's going to open up the door for Jared Mogard right behind him. He's going to slot into that third place position. But we look at the difference between Bryan Hacker and Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson, these guys have been closing that gap.
Yeah.
It's nothing massive, but they're still closing that gap.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now. This lap isn't a good one to look at, but the one before was pretty good. They're 24.74 versus 24.70, just a couple hundreds. But the last lap before that, Bryan Hacker was almost a tenth ahead of them. I mean, chipping away is chipping away. I mean, we got a long race to go. It's not like we're in the closing laps and he's this far back and he's trying to chip away. I think, Bryan Hacker, trying to take off almost a tenth a lap. I mean, that's a good goal to have right now, especially when you're getting pressured behind you from Dante Curtis and Jared Mogard this whole entire run.
And who's to say that that's not helping? The one thing that is honestly helping is it's Ryan Johnson out there in front, not Dante. We're talking a double points race to where anything in front of Dante means, you know what, you're looking at more potential. And lap 114 of 200.
Yeah, I mean, I wish there was a way, we could have like the running tally to see exactly where everybody's sitting as the race goes on to make it a little bit more dramatic. And my brain doesn't work that way to do math on the fly to see exactly how this works. So you're going to, I guess for everybody find out after the race who actually comes up with the championship. I know the admins are going to be working tirelessly and furiously to figure this out as we see Jared Mogard try to throw it down here on Bryan Hacker.
And thinks better of it, because right now, again, I'm sitting thinking we need to be able to catch Ryan Johnson. That 3.5 second gap has come down from nearly 4 seconds. It could just be that this 3-car tandem tried him? I don't know. And hey, I didn't bring this one on. But there goes Jared Mogard looking once again. He's down on that yellow line. He's going to try to slide job and not quite capable of getting it done. And slots it.
I mean, he's finding the runs. I mean, that's what you got to do. What sucks is you got Dante Curtis sitting right there behind you, lurking. So you try to do something stupid or, you know, a little bit different, as you would say. You know, you might end up getting past. But, I mean, good part about it, if you do get past, you're only losing one spot, and you've been there for a while.
You
So,
say
I mean,
stupid, I say I have ADD. But he's looking once again. But we've definitely been chatting in your ear for too long, and we have too many fine sponsors that have...
5 Star Realty Group is located on the Emerald Coast in beautiful Panama City, Florida. 5 Star Realty Group has years of experience in residential properties, investment opportunities, vacation rentals, and commercial properties, and looks forward to helping you with all of your real estate needs. Kelly's Custom Engraving is a locally owned and operated business located in Wellville, North Carolina, specializing in custom engraving of wood, leather, glass, acrylic, and many more materials. Be sure to like and follow their Facebook page to view all of their amazing products and place your order.
Sorry about that horrible transition to the commercial. I may have clicked the button a little earlier than I meant to because, this mouse has a hair trigger. That's what I get for using a gaming mouse. But right now, this is the battle on track. These guys just settling in, looking to see what they can do. Maybe use a little bit of lap traffic to close some gaps. And Jared Meyer just does not get the memo that, you know what? It's not go time until about lap 160.
yeah, I mean, we still got at least one more pit stop to go here. I mean, Mike Alexander might have 5. I don't know. I mean, he pitted so early there. He's got at least to have one more pit stop past this, and I don't think you can recover from that.
And I mean, if we look at the math, it's not possible. I think he's just...
Because, so we had Jeff Mathis. He pitted at lap 13 and then came in lap 83. We're 10 laps past that mark. We're at 124. So right now, if Jeff Mathis is the benchmark, they would be right now pitting at lap 95. So if they can get 5 more laps to their tank and they come in, that would be able to push them to the end based on Jeff Mathis's logic of the way he ran his car.
But that's also assuming that was a mandatory stop, but experience with these cars, yeah, that's probably... that was mandatory.
Yeah, and if you're doing that, I mean, they gave him just about 70 laps, and these guys pitted on lap 70. Yeah, I would expect them in probably about the lap 132, 134 mark, just to give me a green-white checker type of thing, pushing right there towards the end of these guys, this fuel run for these guys.
It could just be that Hail Mary.
I mean, we got Will Eastman. He just went in. He got his 3rd pit stop for the night as well.
But that one, I would argue, is probably logical. That, again, I'm going to make the assumption that Jeff Mathis, when he popped in, that wasn't anything other... As we're actually going to jump here, as Adam Gable is looking to be a little extra racy right now, gets himself around Matt Cook. But these guys, this battle is just never ending.
No, I think these guys are almost equally matched. I think, if one person would clear the other person, they would probably have a little bit of a run, but the draft kind of keeps these guys kind of at bay, so you can't really run away from them. So I think, Jared might just be, half a tenth faster than Bryan Hacker, but Bryan really doesn't have anybody to draft off of him. So, you know, he got behind him. Who knows? Oh, there we see Bryan Hacker pulling off at the 130 mark.
And that, the undercut here is not nearly as strong as some other tracks. But question is does Ryan Johnson, as he has Will Eastman on those fresh tires, dropping down below. But that's going to give Ryan Johnson a bit of an advantage to where he's going to be able to get some draft there. Get a little extra speed.
I mean, right now he's got a 3-second buffer, so there, you might gain half a second, 3/4 of a second. He can stay out, 5, 6, maybe even 8 laps more than the rest of the field, depending on how it works. And whenever he does that, I mean, their tires are a little bit older and his tires are brand new, so they might be just half a hundredths or second or so slower than him, and he's able to capitalize and gain that time right back on these guys, having a little bit fresher tires for this last green flag run to the end.
Well, and we see Dante Curtis dives into the pits after Bryan Hacker, and that's a great reaction from him. Just don't wait. Get it done to where they're on equal footing. But Ryan Johnson also reacting to that. He's going to dive into the pits, and that's going to prevent enough of an undercut from these guys. It's all going to come down to pit lane time. But Jared Mogart in the 00 going to stay out, lead some laps. The 91 of Adam Gables behind him will inherit second place. And all right, every time I talk about Jared Mogart staying out, he's going to come in that lap.
I mean, that's where I thought these guys would be coming in, trying to do my my most educated guess here, looking out for Jeff Mathis gas estimates here, put them in like the low 130s, and that's where they came in about. And most people came in between 130, 135 here, so we're at lap 136, and mostly everybody is pitted here. Will Jeff Mathis stay out again because he was the last one to pit last time. He was able to go an extra 10 laps more than where everybody else did. Will he stay out trying to get another 5-10 laps ahead of these guys?
Honestly, if you've already committed to that, why not just take it to the extreme? We're talking about a championship race here. I'm not going to lie. There's part of my mind that is 100% expecting there to be some kind of, we'll call it extraordinary stupidity.
I mean, that's as long as these guys are able to link back up, as we see Bryan Hacker and Ryan Johnson. They're closing the gap right here. If we're going to look back here, Ryan Johnson, I mean, they had equal pit lane times here. Ryan Johnson was just a second slower there, and that's kind of why the gap's kind of shrunk there. And then Bryan Hacker undercutted, so he was able to come in, shave another about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds off of him. So really close gap here for the lead when everything cycles back through. We got 2 still staying out. We got Adam Gables we're looking on board here, and Matt Cook. They're both here. Matt Cook looks like he's now going to be pulling into pit road. So just Adam Gable right now is the lone wolf out there. Jeff Mathis is already pitted. So then he's the only one left that has not pitted yet.
And you know what? No, he's pitted. Adam Gable. He was lap 109.
No, but he's no.
Oh,
Adam
oh,
Gable,
never
he's
mind.
only got 2. He needs a third pit stop still. He's last pitted at 71 on my screen.
Maybe he's clutching it. We don't know.
I mean, the only thing you can
That
hope
is
for right
some
now.
serious clutching, but maybe.
I mean, the only thing you're hoping for at this point, though, is caution, come out and lap everybody down. Somebody does something stupid on cold tires, but
And
there he goes.
he has made his way into the pit. So our
Man.
first.
That was a fantastic entry. I have to admit that. I mean, you could see that braking point on that bite of his brake to get into the pit road right there, right at the commitment cone.
And now Mike Alexander is going to inherit the lead of this race. He has been out for 37 laps.
Yeah, he pitted at 105, and we're seeing just around 70-something laps right now. I don't see this one happening for him unless a caution comes out. I mean, miracles can happen. We've seen stuff set it up for him for the last little bit. I mean, anything can happen. We still got 66, 67 laps here as he comes across the line here left on this race. I mean, anything can happen. And, I mean, he still has quite a few laps left before he has to pit.
By the way, it's 50.
Oh, I'm sorry. 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, something. It's closer.
I'm not going to be able to make fun of your math for so long now.
Man, it's horrible. Horrible math. So we'll go with 57 laps here. There we go. Oh, man. Long day, long day.
This is why you're in network security. There's not as much math. But this group right now, depending on pit cycles, I don't know if everybody's got one more stop in them. These guys are pushing the limits of what we've seen, and honestly pushing the limits of tires. But Dante Curtis, Bryan Hacker, Ryan Johnson, 3 of our 5 points contenders within a second of one another.
Yeah, I mean, Dante's closing that gap right there on Bryan Hacker. He's doing, I think he's going to wear his tires out. I think he's trying really hard right now to really get past Bryan Hacker. But honestly, I mean, where he's at right now, I mean, he has a high probability sitting where he's at to win the championship, just being in the proximity of him.
Yeah, but he could also be one of those people that want to win.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I 100% want to win, but you also have to think long-term strategy to win the championship. If you can't win if you throw a weird move and, cost yourself a lot of positions if you wreck trying to do it. So, you got to balance that eager to win the race versus winning the bigger picture of the season championship.
Yeah. I know that feeling, but we also know from last week's interview that Bryan Hacker, there are going to be no punches pulled this week. As we see some sparks fly down the backstretch, I have a feeling he is going to be pulling some Ricky Bobby moves of he's either going to win or wreck out trying to win, as Dante Curtis looks down low ever so slightly, gets a little out of sorts coming out of turn 2 and has to abandon the move.
I mean, I wish there was a way, you just stuff it in, like dive it deep on the outside and have it stick 3/4 of the way through the corner and be able to rotate. Because, I mean, that's your biggest way to move past somebody right now is taking the high side away from them. And then, I mean, that's the only way I really, can really see something happen. But these cars, don't have the hairy special of the good tires on the outside.
you know, I need to.
Ooh, there's a
and
yellow.
we have caution, and that. We're going to look at the incident to see what happens here before we talk about the implications of what just happened. Oh, that was the 91 just getting a little loose, and that kind of forced the 6 of Jeff Mathis to just come down on track. And I mean, in all honesty, for driver safety, that's exactly what we needed. But Mike Alexander, Dustin Shepard, the field is coming in. There's no way they can't.
I mean, you can't give it up. I mean, the only thing you can try to throw a Hail Mary is a 2-tire stop and low fuel, whatever you can do to kind of.
Nope.
I mean, that's only Hail Mary that you can, though, if you're sitting back further like Will Eastman. Like, do a 2-tire stop and get yourself out front and make them pass you.
And that's exactly what Ryan Johnson does. Gets himself out. Bryan Hacker right behind him with the same idea. Jared Mogard, Rodney Huntoon, Mike Alexander. All these guys looked like they had their 2-tire stops. But
No, Mike Alexander got 4 because he had such a big gap coming on the pit road that he was able to get 4 and only lose just 3 spots there.
Oh, I'm also thinking, no, Mike Alexander, Dante Curtis look like they may have taken all 4.
Yeah, Dante Curtis, he got 16 seconds unless he different fuel because Mike Alexander took 4, but he had to take a lot more fuel.
That is true.
But yeah.
Well, let's take advantage of replays. That is.
It looked like the left side went up on Dante's, yeah, and the right side. So it looks like Dante took all 4.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like it's up long enough to have pulled that off. It looks like he canceled that. So we'll have to wait and see how this 03 is going to handle. But as it stands, this is the kind of shakeup that this championship race really needed.
I mean, Mike Alexander might have lost 3 spots, but he's starting on the outside. So, I mean, he's got to make the best of this 4 tires because he's the guy up top with the fresh tires all the way around. So,
and if we stay green for 46 laps, that's going to be huge. But the order that we have these guys starting, Ryan Johnson is going to lead us to green. Bryan Hacker in second. Jared Mogard in third. Fourth is Mike Alexander. Fifth is Dante Curtis. And the only one out of the top 5 for the championship outside of that top 5 is Will Eastman. He's in 7th. He's going to be starting on that low line. And all right, all the points are out the window. It's time to go as Ryan Johnson kind of forces the 11 a little bit towards the wall. He manages to slot himself up in front, but these guys are not pulling anything. The 00 not in the points running. He is there to play spoiler.
Yeah, he wants to get that upset win and take it away from the championship. We see Mike Alexander doing what he can. I mean, he's sliding that rear end there. He wants to stay as glued to Bryan Hacker's back bumper as much as he can. So Rodney Huntoon can't. Not Rodney. Jared Mogard. So he cannot slide up there. Looks like Jared had a spot there to slide underneath there, but he chose not to. He chose to continue to battle with Bryan Hacker.
And these guys, I have to compliment Jared because this is a championship race, and he has zero fear. And doing it cleanly, at least for now. But
Yeah.
honestly, he's showing respect while still driving these guys hard. And we could not ask for more as he slots himself into third.
And Dante Curtis is dropping low below Mike Alexander. They make a little bit of touch there. Mike Alexander does a great job of reacting to it, slides the car around just a little bit, but is holding his position up high right now.
And that's going to be spelling trouble unless Dante Curtis chops the nose off. And now the 75 is just going to be right there on the bumper. Honestly, we've got ourselves 38 laps to go as the 21 is now looking to get himself down below Mike Alexander. And why not? Why not just throw crazy out into the world and see what happens?
So I'm wondering if it's going to take a few laps for these 4 tires to come in, because right now, ooh, there's a touch coming off the corner right there. Because, you know, when you put the 2 tires on these cars, it makes it a little bit more loose and probably better handling for the first like 5-10 laps or so. I'm wondering if the 4 tires are going to take a little bit longer to come in to feel a little bit more balanced compared to these 2 tires.
And honestly, I would argue against you that taking 2 tires feels worse to start and then comes in as you get that core temperature in the Hoosiers handled. Whereas 4 tires feels nice and balanced to begin. But right now, we're on 35 laps. And our points contenders, everybody's just, you know, let's make it where literally everyone's within about a second.
blanket. But these guys are doing a fantastic job right now of running really close, really clean, door to door sometimes, but more bumper to bumper lately on these things. We got Jared Mogart dropping low below Bryan Hacker. So far, we haven't seen anybody really make this. You got a little bit older tires here, especially the left sides on these guys. They're doing their best, but you're going to have to get on the outside, and he does. He puts his nose there on the outside. He sends it up there, but he's not able to stick it.
And he gets a little out of sorts. Now he's trying to cross over. And, all right, now we're reaching the point to where what we're seeing from Jared Mogart is going to be the kind of thing that I'll be a little bit annoyed as being a points contender, because he's looking high, he's looking low, he's sliding. And when you've got Ryan Johnson and Bryan Hacker up at the front, and now we have Dante Curtis on the outside of him, if there's an error, half of the top 5 are in trouble.
Yeah, these guys are trying their best to do it. Now, Dante Curtis is trying to clear him. He was able to get to his outside, and he's trying to be within that 1 position because, like I said, this double points night, this 1 position is actually 2 points off the board for him. So every position that he gains and loses is actually 2 points right now. So they're trying to figure out. We see Mike Alexander's got those 4 tires rolling. He's right there on the backside. He's trying to come through here. He's going to try and take the outside from him right there.
And we hear a little bit of the sheet metal rubbing up against the wall in this process as we're on board with him, because for a little while the view from his car was the best view on track. As you're seeing Dante Curtis and Jared Mogard go hand in hand and door handle to door handle. But that is now not nearly as entertaining. But Mike Alexander, he's kind of looking there, seeing a little bit more of the door of that 00 than he may be comfortable seeing. But we're closing in on the last eighth of this race. And
we got Mike Alexander. I mean, he's trying to do whatever he can to get around him. But then we also got Dante Curtis sitting there in third. Bryan Hacker's in second. Ryan Johnson's trying to hold on to this lead here. Last week he came up a little bit short, and Bryan Hacker's sitting there hoping that he can be the one that, able to tip it. We got Jeff Mathis that he just blew up on the radio.
And he at least makes it into the pits. Keeps us from having another caution tonight, at least at this point. But things are nice and calm. But these guys are keeping themselves moving. Adam Gable is just running around. We've got Matt Cook off of the lead lap. And no, it would appear that Adam Gable has parked it.
Oh, we have a 3-wide battle up front right now. Jared Mogard tried to drop it in there. Dante Curtis sitting there on the outside. Jared Mogard drove it so deep he was almost underneath of Bryan Hacker and the Ryan Johnson battle we got going right now for the lead. These guys are side by side, door handle to door handle right now. We got 24 laps to go here. These guys are starting to get dicey. They're starting to lean on each other in the middle of the corners here. We're now stacked up side by side for the top 6.
As we see the 21 end up getting peeled off of this little bit of a scrum, but it's the 11 and the 38. The 38 manages to hold off, but there's Bryan Hacker. The 00 is forcing the 03 up, but we heard last week there's not much love lost between the 11 and the 03 as the 11 runs high, and that forces the 03 up. The 11 manages to get himself a fantastic run coming out of the corner. But how long is this going to be able to hold on?
I mean, Dante Curtis went for the crossover move right there. Aimed high, dropped down low, just couldn't get it done. But Mike Alexander is there trying to get used to use these 4 fresh tires that he has compared to everybody else with the right sides up there, and wants to try and see where he can do some damage and hopefully start clearing some people and move up just a little bit more than the rest.
All right, we currently are focused on the 11 because the 03 is right there. But some of these camera angles, we've got Ryan Johnson currently in 4th in the championship. Bryan Hacker currently in 2nd, running in 2nd. Dante Curtis, the leader. Mike Alexander in 2nd, running 4th. And looking to put a little bit of a bumper to the 03. And then Will Eastman, he's in frame. He's running in 7th, is currently in 5th. We've got 20 laps to go, crossing the line for 19, and it's getting spicy.
Yeah, Mike Alexander's right there, almost putting the bumper to Dante there on the entry to turn 1. These guys are, starting to pick up the action here and the closing laps here. Every point counts, and these guys are trying to make it worthwhile here. We got Ryan Johnson still up front. He's got a little bit of a buffer, but almost, I say, a 2-car length lead right now over Bryan Hacker, and that's what he wants to see. And then he also wants to see Dante Curtis to drop it low, do something to make that gap wider for him.
And it's gonna happen. There's no question about it. We've got 17 laps to go, and there is all the time to try to start making moves. And right there, Dante Curtis right on the bumper of Bryan Hacker. But thing is the more that he fights with Bryan Hacker, there's Mike Alexander, who has been the showdown specialist, waiting in the wings. And you know what? Jared Mogart, who running in 5th, has been there literally the entire night.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job just hanging in there with these guys, running up front. Hopefully he comes back next season and runs a full season with these guys to see, so he can actually be there, actually fighting for the championship like these guys, the 4 guys in front of him.
And unfortunately, that is the case to where he is not fighting for the win tonight with the season. Granted, there's still a great chance with 14 laps to go that he could be fighting for the win. But with how things are shaking up, this is going to be the perfect ending to this season.
Yeah, I know these guys wish they had 20, 30 lap fresher tires right now, trying to go at them. But we see Bryan Hacker, pushing, getting pushed by Dante Curtis down the front straightaway there, all the way down. Mike Alexander's sitting there waiting in the wings. The gap between first and second closed. We're about a car length and a half right now. Bryan Hacker's trying to close the gap just to see if there's a late race move here could be happening in the next 13, actually 12 laps now.
And honestly, the gaps have closed down. We're talking less than 2 seconds separates our leader from 7th place. And again, we're reaching the point of dicey.
These guys are going to have to pull something out, pull a rabbit out of the hat or something here to make some type of move. I know they've been guesstimating, throwing out ideas, trying to see where lines are run, but we're closing down here, almost 10 laps to go here. Somebody's going to have to do something here. You can't wait till the end as we see Bryan Hacker look a little low there on Ryan Johnson. They finally got to him.
And it's just going to be a matter of Ryan Johnson putting that car where he needs to be able to protect the position. In all honesty, he knew coming in that him winning the championship was a long shot. So he's out there just trying to at least get one more win this season. We've got 9 laps to go, and he is in the perfect position to be able to hold on to the win, as we see a little bit of contact in the background there between the 75 and the 00. And
even more.
Oh, we need that not to turn into a problem, because it's looking like Bryan Hacker is looking low. We have Dante Curtis down below, and Ryan Johnson is making that car far wider than it should be. And
he's trying to get the nickname of Ryan Newman right now, the hardest man in the world to pass. So that's what he's trying to do, make that car 3 to 4 lanes wide.
And honestly, I'm not going to say that it's, as we see Mike Alexander get a little bit loose, that's going to move him back into the field, and Will Eastman looking to try to get around him, but we've got to get ourselves back up to the front of this race. Bryan Hacker is entering the corner a little bit earlier than Ryan Johnson. He's right there on the bumper, and Bryan Hacker needs to get around Ryan Johnson as he's looking every which way to try to get around, get himself below, above anything, because he's going to need those bonus points if he's wanting to get in front of Dante Curtis. And honestly, he's got 5 laps, closing in on 4.
Yeah, I don't know what he can do. I mean, you drop it down too low and try to make a mistake, and then Dante Curtis could get by you, but I mean, you have to risk it. I mean, I don't think sitting one position in front of Dante is going to do it. You know, having a buffer and getting the double points for winning, it might bring it close, but I don't think it's going to happen the way it is right now.
No, and 3 laps to go. Dante Curtis running that top line. I think what he's doing is trying to set up a pass to where he's running high, maybe getting a lap or 2 of cooling on those Hoosiers, to where we're now 2 laps to go and it's officially reaching the point of desperation. Bryan Hacker is going to need to make a move. Dante Curtis is right there on the bumper, and I think that that is ultimately going to be the dictating factor to where Bryan Hacker, rather than run the risk of letting Dante Curtis get around him, it's time, but he's looking at a turn 4, can't quite get himself in front, but we've got 1 lap to go in this 2022 season. Bryan Hacker's looking loose. Ryan Johnson gets loose as we're entering turn 3. He's only got 2 more turns. Dante Curtis is looking down below, and we're going to see if he's going to be able to hold on. Ryan Johnson is going to take the win tonight, followed by Bryan Hacker and Dante Curtis. It was uneventful, but stressful. But Ryan Johnson brings home the win. Bryan Hacker in 2nd, Dante Curtis 3rd. Jared Mogard is in 4th. And let's go ahead and run through the entirety of the field while we prepare and let the admins try to get us some points before
they've already declared it. At least the in-race admin, he's already declared that Dante Curtis is this season's champion.
All right, Ryan Johnson is our winner for tonight. Bryan Hacker in 2nd, Dante Curtis in 3rd, 4th, Jared Mogard, 5th, Jeff Virginer, 6th, Mike Alexander, 7th, Will Eastman, 8th is Rodney Huntoon, 9th is Dustin Shepard, 10th, Matt Cook, Adam Gable is in 11th, Jeff Mathis 12th, Gary Eschen 13th, 14th is Kyle Walgreen, and 15th is Robbie Clavey.
Yeah. These guys did a fantastic job all season long. Come down to this one race. Points battle was very close. We don't have the official points numbers of how close it truly was between Bryan Hacker and Ryan Johnson and Dante Curtis, but we found out that Dante Curtis will be the champion here. So do we do the race winner first?
I was going to go through
champion?
the race, and that makes it to where we end on the season champion.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's go ahead and grab our winner for the night, Mr. Ryan Johnson. You at least got to close out with a win.
I did. I am so far out of breath.
I know you were holding on for dear life throughout the whole entire last little bit of a run. I mean, you had a fantastic night overall. I mean, you led quite a few laps all night long. very dominating. You almost had a good about a 3 car lengths there at the end, but they started closing the gap and made it a little bit spicy there.
Yeah. I thought we were pretty good on the pitch strategy there before that last caution came out. I think that's all it was pitch strategy because I was far from the fastest one out here tonight. Yeah. White knuckling is an understatement in those last like 50 laps, whatever it was. That was, oh my God. I was just doing everything I could just to not give it up. Yeah, that was wild.
No less, you had a fantastic showing throughout the season. A little bit of bad luck towards the end of the season. But still, it was great running throughout. And to be able to close out with a win, honestly, there's, short of having taken the season, not much you can complain about.
No, not a ton. Just like you said, the bad luck. It didn't. I mean, it was sprinkled throughout the whole season. It feels like, which I think is what hurt the most. But yeah, I mean, we got a win. We got a plaque. Yay! From Kelly's Custom Engraving. It's been quite a long time. I think since I've gotten one of those. So that's pretty cool. Been wanting another. I definitely didn't think I would get it tonight, but yeah, not a bad season by any means. But with some of these guys, it's just it's hard to compare. And if you have even one bad week, you're done for the season, which is weird to say, but
I mean,
yeah.
we could have said the same about you last season, but we have our ups and our downs, and still, it was a great win from you tonight, a great showing. And before we move along, anyone you want to thank for this year?
All the sponsors and admins at NSRL. You guys are broadcasting the whole season. All the drivers that come out and keep coming out. DCD for my paint. My family, friends, everybody tuning in and watching. Hopefully, I'm not forgetting anybody.
There will be other opportunities to make up for it, but great run from you tonight. It was a great year, and honestly, looking forward to seeing what you have for everyone going forward.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, hopefully we can come home with another championship. It's like it's like I win one, I lose one. I win one, I lose one.
All right, man. At least you're out there winning something, man. It's some people out there waiting for years and seasons go by and still climbing for one. I mean, I've gotten one myself, and it was hard fought all the way to the end. It was the last race of the season, just like tonight, and to the side, it was a double race night too as well. So to the decided the actual championship. So, I mean, you did what you had to do tonight to basically maximize your points to do it. It just didn't fall your way. But, I mean, you put a great show on for us tonight, and we appreciate you giving us some great action tonight behind the wheel, white knuckling it for us.
Yeah, man. Hopefully the show was good. They're definitely not easy to come by. Takes a lot, and I mean some luck, but a lot of skill for these guys to win championships. It's it's a pain in the butt.
All right, thank you, sir, and we will catch you another evening.
Thanks, guys.
All right. All right, it is officially time for us to move on to second place finisher and second place in the chance it.
I'm just kidding, man. Right now, I knew you guys were pulling me up, so I was in the middle of yelling at them. But it's all for fun.
I kind of figured, considering it wasn't an oh crap, they pulled me up.
All right, man. Hey,
No.
yeah. Well, congratulations tonight. You, you did what you had to do. You were up front for most of the race. You led quite a bit. You were up there. Just, Dante had another good night as well, and just slowly, slowly saw your night going away once he was able to get to your back bumper and just hang there from probably about halfway through the race and later.
Yeah, it was a good race. I going into the final race here tonight, I knew that it wasn't going to be. There really wasn't much of a chance for a championship, and it was fine. I was mad at Dante for about 30 minutes last Monday, and then I was over it. So, but I did say that I wasn't going to let him by, so I did have to hold true to my word. Dante and I are. We're good with each other. I like Dante a lot, so I wasn't gonna do anything egregious, but I did want the damn win, and Ryan had to go take that one away from us. I think we were a little bit faster there, but that's all right.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's a track that's really difficult to pass, and I mean, we kind of knew that you just last week was gonna come to pass, but that didn't mean that you were gonna make his passing easy. And man, throughout the night, it was almost impossible to get past you.
Yeah, I was doing my best Ryan Newman impression whenever I saw the O3 in the mirror, but it was a lot of fun tonight. Whoever decided that 200 laps at IRP was good for the last race on the schedule. I hope they get called in for jury duty. But it's God, that's a long race.
But there was excitement throughout, especially with you and Dante through the stint before the caution. You
Yeah,
guys just how we ended up with three people within a second of one another after what, 2 rounds of pit stops?
I saw how Ryan kicked our ass the first time, so I knew that if I wanted to gain that back, I was going to have to pit that much earlier the second pit stop, and that's what we did. And I know Dante saw me pit, so he was going to jump down. I think he came in the lap after me, so I really couldn't get away from him too much, but we did catch up to Ryan, and I think it would have been pretty interesting there if it went green, because we all probably had enough to make it. I definitely had enough to make it. I would assume those two guys had enough to make it, but the tires would have been absolute garbage by the end of that run. So it would have been real interesting.
No,
yeah,
it
it's.
was great though, from
Yeah,
our
but I mean,
perspective.
you did a fantastic job throwing some good excitement there at the end, putting the pressure on them, closing that gap there at the end with the closing laps there. You kind of fell back there fighting with Dante a little bit. It's about a 2, almost 3 car length gap between you and Ryan, but then, man, you were able to close it. And I'm just like, where is he going to be able to make the move? That's where it is. I'm sitting there looking to try and figure out where would your move come from.
I I was considering. I don't know. I think I would have had a tough time really roughing Ryan up. I don't get me wrong, I roughed him up pretty hard there with like 30 to go. But I was just trying to make a move then. I had a pretty good run. And it was kind of do or die. And if I didn't, I thought I was going to get shuffled out back probably 4 or 5 spots. So I had to do what I had to do to kind of muscle my way back into line. But I was considering throwing an old Dante Curtis special into turn 3 on the last lap, but decided not to, and was hoping Ryan would maybe slip up and we could get underneath him a little bit. But he ran a good race, so kudos to him.
No, it was a great night. It was a great season. I mean, one spot shy of where everybody wants to be. But before we let you go for the season, anyone out there you want to thank?
Yeah, congrats to Dante on the championship and Ryan on the win. Mike Alexander had a really good season too. It's good, hanging out with these guys throughout the season. Carbon Junction, Narrative Coffee, Pathfinder Chassis, Aberdeen Lodge, the guys, the 685 admins that put this thing on every week and allow us to do this. And half the admins, I don't even know if they're on iRacing anymore, but they're still all chugging along behind the scenes. Thanks to you guys for coming aboard and doing this. You know, some of these races are long, some of them are crazy with road courses and dirt and 200 lappers, and we got a whole mix, and appreciate you guys sticking it out with us.
No, it's been a delight for the past year, and thank you guys for putting on a fantastic show. It makes it a whole lot easier.
We do our best, but maybe Dante will quit stinking up the show next season. We'll see.
All right, thank you, sir, and well, great season, second place for the season, and we'll see what you have for us next year.
All right, well, you guys take care. I'm sure we'll see you around.
All right, thank you, sir. And finally, needed to make sure we had plenty of time with the season champion, Mr. Dante Curtis.
How we doing, guys?
I don't know. You tell me how you're doing.
Pretty good. Pretty sweaty right now. Forgot to turn this heater off behind me. So, of course, on the it wasn't 125 lap race. It was another 75 on top of that. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty sweaty right now. But other than that, pretty good.
Feels like you're out there on a Saturday night in late September-ish.
Yeah, something like that. I'm just glad that one got over with, and we're up here talking to y'all.
I got you, man. But hey, congratulations, man. You stayed where you needed to be with behind Bryan Hacker. I know you wanted to get by Ryan, and get both the win and the championship. But I was telling Josh, I'm like, you can't really throw too many crazy moves because there's people behind him that want that position just as much as you do, and if you throw something, you might get shuffled back, and then the points start to become a little bit hazier. The more positions you lose there, so staying right on his back bumper, I mean, and kind of the best move you could make unless he truly slipped up and you were able to get a really good clean pass out of it.
Oh yeah, you hit the nail on the head right there. I mean, that was our whole game plan. We caught up to Bryan there after pit stop cycled out that first time, and was just kind of hanging out there behind him. And we were thinking about doing some multiple different strategies, but I figured as long as I was right behind Bryan and stayed with him the whole race, then we'd all be good. So as long as I could just stay behind him, we just knew we were probably on the right strategy.
No, it wasn't necessarily do or die tonight, but, when you're finishing a position behind your closest competitor for the championship, honestly, I really don't know how you guys ended up right in a little pack after 2 pit cycles, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I'm really surprised we came out where we did too. Last 2 weeks here, we've been really good on pit strategy, which is a lot of credit to Devin and Dustin and Brandon. They've offered me a lot of help and fooled with a calculator while I've been busy driving. So they've helped me out a lot and be good on fuel strategy. So really just wanted to stay there with Bryan, and it really sucked there at the end. I really wanted to race it out and get that last plaque and get one last win here before we take a little break. But it was really hard to kind of just sit there and ride, because I was like, well, I guess I've got it if I just hang out right here. So I kept on waiting for Ryan and Bryan to do something there. They did everything but wreck, so I was going to try and take advantage of that. But if they didn't wreck, we was content with third.
I mean, it's enough to get yourself a championship, get another season in the books, and we talked to you in first place a total of 7 times, which is definitely the most throughout the season. Just honestly, missed out on some of those double points night that made it to where it was a little tighter than winning 7 times would expect.
Yeah, honestly, that makes me feel really good about myself. To know you have one less race counted compared to everybody else, and still was kind of able to walk away with a championship there. So, I mean, it's really cool to finally win another championship. I won my real life championship at the local track, and then won this one that I've worked basically for the last 17 weeks on. So, I think we've accomplished all of our goals for 2022 there. We won the championships we wanted to win and set out to try and win. So, I don't know what's next after this one. We might be doing some format changing next year, and I don't know. I might come back and race next season with these guys. I don't know. I kind of feel like I've ruined it for everybody else, and kind of done what I could do. So
I wouldn't say you've ruined it. I think it's more just in how I've run, there's always that one person that becomes my mark that, you know what, they're who I'm chasing.
yeah, I mean, I kind of basically, like, I mean, heck, I've won, I don't know, 25 races, I think it was, out of the 80 or 81 I started, and been up front in the top 5 just a whole bunch. I mean, it's just really fun racing with these guys in this format. I can't say enough about these guys back at the league and just giving us a good place to race. I mean, this is a lot of fun, and just don't know. I think we might have had all the fun we've gonna had. I don't know. Just we got a couple months or a month or two till we start back here. So we'll make a call then and see if we come back or not. But if not, we kind of ended it how we wanted to end it.
No, that's the best way to look at it. And as we close out the year on the North-South Racing League, we know you've got a lot of people to call out. So who do you have to thank for all of this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, it's a long list, but just first off, got to thank you guys giving us, like, it's been amazing. Y'all been probably one of the best broadcasts we've had, and can't say enough about y'all. I mean, it's been a lot of fun getting to talk to y'all every week. I don't know, really, it's just, that's half the fun, that's half the motivation, just trying to run good enough to talk to y'all after every race. So just got to thank y'all. Got to thank all the admins back at the NSRL again for putting this on. My dad for watching. I'm sure he's back home watching. Dustin, Devin, Brandon, Phil, DJ, all the guys back at DCD Racing. Just we've kind of dwindled down our numbers towards the end of the year. So just really thankful for the guys that have stuck with us and raced with us all year. And just, yep. Other than that, just thank you guys, and hopefully we'll be talking to y'all next year.
All right, sounds good. Congratulations once again, and best of luck to you with wherever you end up.
Thank you guys, appreciate it. Hopefully talk to y'all soon here.
All right, take care, sir.
User left your channel.
All right. I guess, Adam, that's going to do it for this season, this year.
I mean, it's been a fantastic ride these guys put on for us these last 17 races. These guys put on a heck of a show week in, week out. And I can't thank these guys enough, the admin staff, for put on a great league for this, for all the viewers out there to watch for us. And then, it's been a fantastic job for covering it for these guys. It's fun coming here to broadcast for these guys. They're week in and week out.
It definitely has. It's been wonderful to be up in the booth. And honestly, this is the kind of racing I love to watch. And they've made it very easy for us up here. But that is definitely going to do it for us here on Ghostfire Media for the North-South Racing League. Make sure and check out on Tuesday nights with Nick and Randy. But that is going to close out things for us here in 2022 for the North-South Racing League. Thank you for being regular watchers, and we will catch you next time.
Thank you for watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.